Medicine and medication and meditation and mediation. I think they are derived from same dhatu or the root word mediate. Through mediation in legal world, which is a dream of our Prime Minister, that legal system can be further revolutionized through introducing a system of mediation. We will not go into that, but mediation, like meditation, and like meditation, the medication, they all affect us at a different level. The purpose is integration in all these things. Whether we mediate to bring about integration in differing individuals, or integration at a cellular level for a better health, or integration at a consciousness level for a yogic achievement. In all this fundamental thing called vibratory atonement, resonance comes to foreplay. Before we get into a very serious discussion on meditation and how it improves our health at overall level, improving our swasthya, I would like to share with you two jokes that has come to my mind this morning that I should share with you. First joke is, I have given a title, Mummy is Coming Home. One fine day, husband gets up early in the morning and receives a telegram. We're talking of 1970s. Nowadays, we don't hear of telegrams. So telegram says, Mummy is coming home. So he's so happy and tells the story, reads out this telegram to his wife that Mummy is coming home. So his moment she hears it, seeing the happiness of her husband, she took it for granted. My God, what is going to happen now? Mummy is coming home. So she becomes depressed, angry, irritable. She throws all sorts of negative emotions. Well, anyway, husband goes to the railway station, picks up Mummy from the railway station, comes home, knocks at the door. Wife doesn't come very quickly. She comes with a lot of agitation. And as soon as she opens the door, she hugs the Mummy with so much of joy. She gets upset on her husband. Why didn't you tell me it's my mother? So you see how understanding a message or misunderstanding a message can create so much of headache. Right? It creates some level of sickness at a mental level. I share with you another real life example. That was a story though. This is a real life example that happened in New York City, is one of the boroughs, Staten Island, where I used to live. And it happened in one of the Indian families. Daughter phones up mother. Mother says, Madhumi, I'm coming home. She was studying in a university. So mommy asks, why all of a sudden? She says, Mommy, I have to introduce you my boyfriend. He is of African origin. So mommy's blood pressure drops very fast. And then she says, give phone to Papa. So mommy gives phone to Papa and says he not only is from African origin, but he also has HIV AIDS. So you can imagine the situation at home. She comes home alone. But she had given a message that I'm coming with so-and-so who has HIV. When she comes home alone, the mommy asks, Papa asks, what happened? Where is your boyfriend? She says, Papa, mommy, I was just making up a story that so and so is coming who has HIV and AIDS. In reality, to tell you the truth, I have flunked in exam. I have failed in exam. So Papa and Mummy become so happy. Don't worry, baby. Don't worry, baby. It's okay to fail as long as you are not marrying this fellow with HIV. So you see how this mental state changes the perception of every individual, makes a big knock on our thinking, and how the thinking changes our understanding, and how the understanding either gives you fever or gives you headache or makes you angry or makes you depressed with a lot of anxiety and tension. Parameters of health, though we measure as expression, let's say when you have a viral infection or a bacterial infection, we say, oh, okay, let's measure temperature, etc. How is the immunological responses? Some people, just hearing the news that your neighbor has COVID and the world ends for them, see, they start greeting each other. They start even touching each other. They walk around with all kinds of protection. Nothing wrong with it. Protections are necessary. But when we talk of certain barriers that we have to create within ourselves that can vaccinate our health, especially the mental health, mental well-being, spiritual well-being. Yogic Shastra talks about 5 layers or the 5 bodies, and most of you are perhaps aware of. It starts with Annamaya Kosha, means this physical body. Physical body can get affected. So many factors like wounds, fractures, which we all deal with it at that level, at a physical level. Infection, foreign bodies are affecting us. So we have medicine starting with antibiotics, or we can develop the immune response. So we have to study what all can strengthen our immunity and what all can decrease our immunity. Positive thinking, positive attitude towards life, which is generally brought about through meditation, increases immune response, rather immune responses. If you are in a bad state of mind, will your immunity be strong enough? No. You are not very well prepared. Your defenses are down. People who use phones, constantly using phones while you are sick, it delays the process of healing. One day, you know what I was in a research lab. They took my blood sample, put it on a slide, and the lab operator, he was showing me how the RBCs were following or forming the colonies on the structure. So I could see that, and he had prepared a chart that all individuals who has compromised health, for example, sickle cell anemia, or viral infection, or fungal infection, or bacterial infection, or certain other diseases like cancer, of different types of cancer. In each case, the RBC colonizing was of a different pattern. That was very interesting for me because I had never studied this particular formation of RBC colonies on a slide based on a disease. Second thing that came to my whimsical mind was after about almost half an hour of chit-chatting like this, I had this funny idea that what happens to WBCs? You have shown us RBCs. But then when he says all WBCs have, they become very quiet. Generally, they move around in the beginning. But now they're almost dead and they are not moving now. I said, all right, let's see. I requested the lab operator, please put your phone there. Keep your phone near the slide. And phone was active. I said, turn on your Bluetooth also and turn on your Wi-Fi also. And see what happens to these WBCs. And suddenly I saw WBCs frantically waking up and moving frantically. You guys can easily see that because your lab is in access, and maybe you can also take a video and showcase it to every little child in Delhi and everywhere. Children need to perform this experiment so they know what really happens. The phone disturbed, it woke them up, the WBCs. And WBCs become active only when they have to respond against a threat of either bacteria or virus or any foreign body. But here, we are just talking of vibrations being emitted through the phone. Right? So now you see how the vibrations are playing havoc on our immunity. So beware, people who are living under the towers, they have to be worried about it. I recently saw a scientific research paper on bioelectricity and how bioelectricity can express the genetic deviations. They were able to grow the eyes of a frog behind its head. They were able to create the heart outside the body of a frog just by manipulating this bioelectricity. Now, bioelectricity is nothing but energy field. Now, what happens when we meditate? Meditation creates also some level of bioenergy, and that can also be measured with Killian photography. Each one forms a very specific type of energy level based on layers and layers of, rather the preventive layers. We all carry different layers around us. And these layers are created by our own consciousness, and consciousness is affected by so many factors. It's like this. If you have a prejudice against someone, if you are greedy about things, if you are always violent in nature, what happens to your consciousness? It is not transparent. Through meditation, we are able to digest all these things because we are able to understand things properly. This understanding creates a level of integration in us. Understanding leads us to right frame of mind. Understanding and integration, they are integral part of it. When you read Gita, for example, the very first chapter, Arjuna is confused. How can I kill my great-grandfather? How can I kill my cousins? How can I kill my gurus? How can I kill my friends? His thinking was erratic. In the very second chapter, Lord Krishna teaches him right knowledge, right understanding of the whole thing, and then subsequently right action. See, correcting the thinking and bringing about right understanding and acting on a right path, that is somehow a summary of our life. We all make mistakes because of wrong thinking, wrong understanding. and wrong action. Meditation teaches us fundamental thing. Meditation becomes actually too late when you already have compromised with your health. Meditation and yoga especially, they are preventive in nature. Today I would like to emphasize more on the first two steps, yama and niyama. Asanas, everybody knows how good they are for physical flexibility and strength. We also are aware of pranayam and its impact. I think AIMS has done a lot of research on pranayam and how wonderfully it can change energy level in most of us. Whenever I feel destabilized and I develop foggy mind after a flu, if I do this breathing exercise, 5 minutes in the morning, 5 minutes in the evening, my foggy mind goes away. I recover faster. So, but all these benefits are there. Today, I like to emphasize on how these qualities related or described by Rishi Patanjali, yama and niyamas, can integrate our health in a right manner. What is efficiency? What is health? Health in English we understand very well. Normal BP, 120/80, your HbA1c of certain level, all other parameters which doctors measure. Then there are many other things that can say, okay, you are with a normal health. What happens there in a balanced way when the anabolic and catabolic processes are going in rhythm, in sync? You enjoy good health. When there are faster changes, inner as well as outer, then we face disintegration rather than integration. And that leads to compromised health. Efficiency or loss of health can be because of these two fundamental things. And they can be related as a function. Mathematically, you can say my health or my success is a function of external integration divided by internal disintegration. Now, how can I integrate myself externally as well as internally? Let's take an example of home and the business world and a country at large. External disintegration or integration, or internal disintegration and integration. What do I mean by that? Wherever there is harmony and unity in a family, wherever there is mutual respect and trust, there will be greater integration. Wherever there is commotion, discord, suspicion, doubts, there is disintegration. And we become less efficient as a family. You can see in parliament also, people fighting, shouting like animals. They are worse than perhaps children in a school. Even schools are better at times when we see today's Rajya Sabhas and parliament performing. They are worse than children. They don't let other people speak also properly. What happens to such individuals' health? Unless they are acting. The Vinod Khanna, he was a follower of Rajneesh, Osho as we know him today. And Vinod Khanna asked his master, Osho, how should I act in film industry? And how should I lead my life? So Osho gave him a great advice. He said, act as if it's so real and live as if you are pretending. And I think in the parliaments, what's going on is they're not seriously shouting, they are just pretending. They are not seriously opposing or agreeing. They are not even serious about agreements, just pretending to make others happy or irritated. They have become great actors. They are also meditating. Meditation means to focus on something. To meditate means to have an idea, one thought for a considerable time. Politicians also meditate how to ambush the other party, other members. They know nothing but ambushing the oppositions. But they have never learned the art of integration. Once we learn this idea of individual integration, individual harmony, then we will learn community, family, national unity, national integration. Otherwise, until this integration happens, we will keep on talking of Desha Bhakti and all sorts of nonsense. When it comes to health, when we talk of the first two steps, very first step is yama, and second step is niyama. Last time when I was at AIMS, I did mention about yama, that why in the world Patanjali calls the very first step as yama, the lord of death. Because he would like us to kill all the weaknesses, the defects, from the very first step of beginning yoga. And the very first weakness he calls is ahimsa, or something that is as an antidote towards hinsa. Kill hinsa. Kill untruthfulness or lies. Kill the habit of stealing. Kill the habit of raping or having overwhelming sensual desires. Kill the idea of accumulation. So when we talk of integration, here when we say non-violence divided by violence, greater the number, there will be greater integrity. Likewise, a tendency to accumulate, if it is greater, versus tendency to sacrifice and become generous, see, the integration will increase. Likewise, his second step is niyama. And niyama is so beautiful, starting with saucha, meaning cleanliness. And we have learned lessons that each time you come back home, wash your hands, right? That was during COVID times, but that was a very superficial thing. The bigger diseases are inside. How do you do your mind, your heart, your consciousness cleaning? How to keep them purer? Only yoga can teach us. You can remain physically healthy with all those beautiful parameters which the pathologist guarantees that you are wonderful. But inside you are rotten. Then what is the use of such a health? Yoga, through meditation, makes us highly sensitive, highly aware. It says of consciousness, for example. What is consciousness? Consciousness is degree of awareness that you have become more and more aware. But what do you do by becoming more and more aware? Like Dr. Srinivas, his biggest problem today, if I can understand, is the corruption. Corruption in the government-run hospitals. He's perhaps embattled by this desire to purify all these things. How is he going to achieve it without the integrated approach of all the members? Can he achieve this alone? I don't think so. Integration requires mutual respect towards each other. But if you feel that, oh, Dr. Srinivas is going to get credit and so will praise him and gives him Padma Bhushan and Padma Vibhushan and Bharat Ratna, then you become very jealous and you will not cooperate. And this is a problem with most organizations, that integration is lacking because you don't respect. We have to have a purpose. Purpose is to make myself purer, my family purer, my community purer, my nation, my country purer. And without this purity, integration is never going to happen. I can have different views. I may differ from each other, but when it comes to purpose, fulfilling the purpose at a national level or at an individual level, at a national health level or at an individual health level, I must be an integrated personality. Individual must remain integrated, and this integration can be strengthened only through a conscious mind, conscious heart. What only you become aware that, okay, hinsa nahi karna hai, I will not become violent. Is it enough? What if you diagnose a patient and say, oh, so and so has such a problem? Is it enough? Next step is, through compassion, through empathy, I must take a next step. Ahimsa is not enough. Compassion has to come into the picture. Next level of action has to come into the picture. So, when you divide all these things, yama divided by niyama, it brings you at a greater and greater level of integration and success and efficiency. Now, when we talk of balancing, when we talk of going inward and settling within ourselves, Ayurveda, Dr. Tanuja and I had a great discussion on this concept of swasthya when she was here at Kanha Santivanam. We talked about that, what is the meaning of swasthya? Health is one thing. Swasthya is altogether a different approach. It's an Indian approach. And it appeals to my heart so strongly. Swasthya means one who is settled within oneself. जो खुद में अपने में स्थिर हुआ है, centered हुआ है. Now, if you are not centered, if you are always on the periphery, you will surely lose your balance. As children, we had played the top, no? We ऐसा लगाते थे with the thread, and the top would spin very fast because of its speed. But if the wheel moves, instead of the center, moves here, then the entire vehicle will go off balance and you will have an accident. And that's what is happening to our mind. Our mind is not in our center. Our mind is in many places. Sage Patanjali says, bring your attention inward, center it. Centering is directly proportional to your inward attention. Greater the inward attention, greater the centering. More outward you are, extrovert, external attention. And this, he has masterfully described this in his 6th or 7th step as pratyahar. All your attention, when it's focused within, then you become perfectly balanced. You are centered. And such individual, they say, is swasthya. Unka swasthya acha hai. And I have seen time and again, even the terminal patients that we have as our satsangis, they are in a kind of hospice environment. They know the final moments are nearing. Yet, you don't see sadness, you don't see moroseness on their face. You see such a joy on their face. Death is inevitable. Yet, they are so ready for it. They are not fighting, they are ready. Even with cancer and terminal diseases, they are smiling. And you can see the kind of light they ooze out from their face. The radiance that you see on such individuals, simply out of the world, and it is something that you would love to witness. And this is perfect because of their centering. Their attention is centered within. And that is also another definition to me. That dhyan is not thinking about others. Dhyan is thinking of divinity within yourself. And when we say, now I have transcended my mind, I have transcended my intellect, I have transcended my ego, and a time comes, luckily, if we can meditate properly under a right guru, we can transcend even consciousness. Then you are no longer centered with the periphery in imbalance. But you are so centered within your heart, and the periphery becomes the entire universe. Your consciousness has now no longer been restricted, limited to this frame, to this body. But you encompass the cosmic consciousness. And this is the offering of yoga. Our country had seen many personalities adding knowledge after knowledge, adding ways and means how to fulfill that knowledge, how to achieve those lofty goals. One after the other, we are adding this knowledge, enriching the hoary tradition of India. And it is our business, it is our job to take it forward. I would like to also mention, since you are all elite, top doctors of India, if not of globe, I request very humbly to perform certain researches and recommend to the people of India that there are so many ways and means of achieving inner centeredness, awareness that can be evolved, consciousness that can be evolved, to filter out all the useless methods, to filter out all the useless approaches, and come to one fundamental approach. Say, and encourage people scientifically that this is a right method, this is a right approach. For that, let us see, if we have 10 painkillers, you have 10 different systems. How would you know this system is good for that? One system may be good for certain things, one for certain other things. 10 different painkillers, and you know which is the best. You know which is the safest. You know which is most economical. Likewise, we can do the consciousness studies of, let's say, groups of hundreds of people following different systems and come to a very summarized, very simple research paper and say this is a great system. I am here to put myself at the helm of a sword and be beheaded if that be so. And if you can prove heartfulness is a useless system, I will become your disciple. With this, I submit my prayers that all may grow spiritually, all may thrive towards integration individually, as well as at a national level, at a global level, and create a revolution in healthcare through yoga, through Ayurveda. Thank you. Jai Hind.